Welcome to today's reading from the Krishna book. Krishna recovers the son of his teacher. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All the kings in the neighboring area had left their homes in fear of Kamsa and were living in distant parts of the country. Now, after the death of Kamsa and the reinstallment of Ugrasen as king, the neighboring kings were given all kinds of presentations and comforts. Then they returned to their respective homes. After this nice political arrangement, the citizens of Mathura were pleased to live in Mathura, being protected by the strong arms of Krishna and Balram. On account of good government in the presence of Krishna and Balram, the inhabitants of Mathura felt complete satisfaction in the fulfillment of all their material desires and necessities. And because they saw Krishna and Balram daily, face to face, they soon forgot all material miseries completely. As soon as they saw Krishna and Balram coming out on the street, very nicely dressed and smiling and looking at the citizens with grace, the citizens were immediately filled with the loving ecstasies simply by seeing the personal presence of Mukunda. The name Mukunda refers to one who can award liberation and transcendental bliss. Krishna's presence acted as such a vitalizing tonic that not only the younger generation but even the old men of Mathura became fully invigorated with youthful energy and strength by regularly seeing him. Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda were also living in Mathura because Krishna and Balram were there. But after some time, they wanted to go back to Vrindavan. Krishna and Balram went before Nanda and Yashoda and very affectionately embraced them. And then the two lords spoke as follows. Dear father and mother, although we were born of Vasudev and Devaki, you have been our real father and mother. Because from our very birth and childhood, you raised us with great affection and love. Your affectionate love for us was more than anyone can offer one's own children. You are actually our father and mother because you raised us as your own children when we were just like orphans. For certain reasons, we were rejected by our father and mother because you raised us as your own children. Our father and mother rejected us for certain reasons and you protected us, dear father and mother. We know that you will feel separation upon returning to Vrindavan and leaving us here. But please rest assured that we shall come back to Vrindavan just after giving some satisfaction to our real father and mother, Vasudev and Devaki, and our grandfather and other family members. Krishna and Balram thus satisfied Nanda and Yashoda by sweet words and by presentations of various kinds of clothing, ornaments, and copper utensils. They satisfied them along with their friends and neighbors who had come with them from Vrindavan to Mathura as fully as possible. On account of excessive parental affection for Balram and Krishna, Nanda Maharaj felt tears in his eyes and he embraced them and started with the cowherd men for Vrindavan. After this, Vasudev had his sons initiated by sacred thread as a token of second birth, which is essential for the higher castes of human society. Vasudev called for his family priest and learned brahmanas, and the sacred thread ceremony of Krishna and Balram was duly performed. During this ceremony, Vasudev gave various ornaments in charity to the brahmanas and endowed them with cows decorated with silken clothes and golden ornaments. Then Vasudev remembered the cows he had wanted to give in charity to the brahmanas after the birth of Krishna and Balaram. But being imprisoned by Kamsa at that time, Vasudev had been able to do so only within his mind, for Kamsa had stolen all his cows. With the death of Kamsa, his cows were released, and now Vasudev gave the actual cows to the brahmanas. Then Balaram and Krishna were duly initiated with the sacred thread ceremony, and they repeated the chanting of the Gayatri mantra. The Gayatri mantra is offered to disciples after the sacred thread ceremony, and Krishna and Balram properly discharged the duties of chanting this mantra. Anyone who executes a chanting of this mantra has to abide by certain principles and vows. Although Balram and Krishna are transcendental personalities, they strictly followed the regulative principles. They were initiated by their family priest Gargacharya, usually known as Garg Muni, the Acharya of the Yadu dynasty. According to Vedic culture, every respectable family has an Acharya or spiritual master. One is not considered a perfectly cultured man without being initiated and trained by an Acharya. It is said, therefore, that one who has approached an Acharya is actually in perfect knowledge. Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all education and knowledge. There was no need for them to accept a spiritual master or Acharya, yet for the instruction of ordinary men, they also accepted a spiritual master for advancement in spiritual knowledge. It is customary after being initiated in the Gayatri Mantra for one to live away from home for some time under the care of the Acharya, to be trained in spiritual life. During this period, one has to work under the spiritual master as an ordinary menial servant. There are many rules and regulations for a brahmachari living under the care of an Acharya, and Krishna and Balaram strictly followed those regulative principles while living under the instruction of their spiritual master Sandipani Muni, who was a resident of Avantipura in the northern Indian district of Ujjain. According to scriptural injunctions, a spiritual master should be respected and regarded on an equal level with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna and Balram exactly followed those principles with great devotion and underwent the regulations of Brahmacharya. Thus they satisfied their spiritual master who instructed them in Vedic knowledge. Being very satisfied, Sandipani Muni instructed them in all the intricacies of Vedic wisdom and in supplementary literatures such as the Upanishads. Because Krishna and Balram happened to be Kshatriyas, they were specifically trained in military science, politics, and ethics. Politics include such departments of knowledge as how to make peace, how to fight, how to pacify, how to divide and rule, and how to give shelter. All these items were fully explained and instructed to Krishna and Balaram. The ocean is the source of water in a river. The cloud is created by the evaporation of ocean water, and the same water is distributed as rain all over the surface of the earth and then returns to the ocean in rivers. So Krishna and Balaram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are the source of all knowledge. But because they were playing like ordinary human boys, they set the example so that everyone would receive knowledge from the right source. Thus they agreed to take knowledge from a spiritual master. After hearing only once from the teacher, Krishna and Balaram learned all the arts and sciences. In 64 days and 64 nights, they learned all the necessary arts and sciences required in human society. During daytime, they took lessons on a subject from the teacher, and by the nightfall, they were expert in that department of knowledge. First of all, they learned how to sing, how to compose songs, and how to recognize the different tunes. They learned the favorable and unfavorable accents and meters, how to sing different kinds of rhythms and melodies, and how to follow them by beating different kinds of drums. They learned how to dance to the rhythm of melody and different songs. They learned how to write dramas, and they learned the various types of paintings, beginning from the simple village arts up to the highest perfectional stage. They also learned how to paint tilak on the face by making different kinds of dots on the forehead and cheeks. Then they learned the art of making paintings on the floor with the liquid paste of rice and flour. Such paintings are very popular at auspicious ceremonies performed at household affairs or in the temple. They learned how to make a resting place with flowers and how to decorate clothing and limbs with colorful paintings. They also learned how to set valuable jewels in ornaments. They learned the art of bringing water pots, Water pots are filled with water to a certain measurement so that as one beats on the pots, different tones are produced, and when the pots are beaten together, they produce a melodious sound. They also learned how to splash water in the rivers or lakes while taking a bath among friends. They learned how to decorate with flowers. This art of decorating can still be seen in various temples of Vrindavan during the summer season. It's called Phula Badi. The dais, the throne, the walls, and the ceilings are all fully decorated, and a small aromatic fountain of flowers is fixed in the center. Because of these floral decorations, the people, fatigued from the heat of the summer, become refreshed. Krishna and Balram learned the art of dressing hair in various styles and fixing a helmet in different positions on the head. They also learned how to set up a theatrical stage, how to decorate dramatic actors with clothes and with flowers, ornaments over the ear, and how to sprinkle sandalwood pulp and water to produce a nice fragrance. They also learned the art of performing magical feats. With the magical field, there is an art called Bahurupi, by which a person dresses himself in such a way that when he approaches a friend, he cannot be recognized. Krishna and Balram also learned how to make various syrups and beverages required at various times, having various tastes and intoxicating effects. They also learned different types of sewing and embroidery work, as well as how to manipulate thin threads for dancing puppets. This art includes how to string wires on musical instruments such as veena, sitar, esaraj, and tambura to produce melodious sounds. Then they learned how to make and solve riddles. They learned the art of how even a dull student can very quickly learn the alphabet and read books. Then they learned how to rehearse and act out a drama. They also studied the art of solving crossword puzzles, filling up the missing spaces, and making complete words. They also learned how to draw and read pictographic literature. In some countries in the world, pictographic literature is still current. A story is represented in pictures. For instance, a man and a house are pictured to represent a man going home. Krishna and Balram also learned the art of architecture, how to construct residential buildings. They learned to recognize valuable jewels by studying their luster and colors. Then they learned the art of placing jewels in a gold and silver setting so that they look very beautiful. They also learned how to study soil to find minerals. This study of soil is now a greatly specialized science, but formerly it was common knowledge even for the ordinary man. They learned to study herbs and plants to discover how they would act as medicines for different ailments. By studying the different species of plants, they learn how to crossbreed plants and trees and get different types of fruits. They learned how to train and engage rams and cocks in fighting for sport. They also learned how to teach parrots to speak and learn the questions of human beings. They learned practical psychology, how to influence another's mind and thus induce another to act according to. Sometimes this is called hypnotism. They learned how to wash hair, dye it different colors, and curl it in different ways. They learned the art of telling what is written in someone's book without actually seeing it. They learn to tell what is contained in another's fist. Sometimes children imitate this art, although not very accurately. One child keeps something within his fist and asks his friend, "Can you tell what is it within?" And the friend gives some suggestion, although he actually cannot tell. But there is an art by which one can understand and actually tell what is held within that fist. Krishna and Balram learned how to speak and understand the language of various countries. Not only did they learn the languages of human beings, Krishna could also speak even with animals and birds. Evidence of this is found in the Vaishnav literature compiled by the Goswamis. Then they learned how to make carriages and airplanes from flowers. It is said in Ramayana that after defeating Ravan, Ramchandra was carried from Lanka to Bharatvarsh on a plane of flowers called Pushparatha. Krishna and Balram then learned the art of foretelling events by seeing signs in a book called Khanara Vachana. The various types of signs and omens are described. If one is going out, one sees someone with a bucket full of water. That is a very good sign. But if someone sees someone with an empty bucket, it's not. Similarly, if one sees a cow being milked along its calf, it's a good sign. The result of understanding these signs is that one can foretell events, and Krishna and Balram learned the signs. They also learned the art of composing matrika. A matrika is like a crossword box with 3 numbers in each row. If one adds any 3 from any sides, it will come to 9. The matrikas are of different kinds and for different purposes. So we have read about how Krishna and Balram got enrolled into Sandipani Muni's ashram, which was in Ujjain in Avantipur. So now it's clear why the schools, the schools, the Vedic schools are named Avanti, because the place where Sandipani Muni's ashram was Avantipur. So they have learned actually each and everything which is available for humans to learn in this world. So Krishna and Balram have went through each and every faculty or each and every course, you can say, and there's still some more left to read what they studied there. So it's really mind-boggling that how it can be done in 64 days and 64 nights. But then again, Bhagwan has made everything, so it's not difficult for him what he achieved with Balram. So I will continue this tomorrow. Thanks for joining Narayan Keshav Prabhu. Hare Krishna.